my face that when I first start to drink it.
Okay.
Ugh, it's horrible. Actually, it's not as bad as I was expecting.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
wait. Oops, I think we're live now.
Okay.
What is this? Okay, it's commercial. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host, Louisa. Today is Thursday, March 12th, 2020. Sorry, we're getting ready here. What are we doing? Okay. This is GoldFish Report number 456. It's 456, Steve. Isn't that interesting?
That's
This
good.
is
That's
coffee
good.
break. This is coffee break with my co-host Steve in Vienna, Austria. How are you, Steve?
I'm well. Things are crazy over here, but I'm well at the moment.
And I've got this frappuccino that is sacrilege. It's almond milk, but it's espresso, so I'm just going to drink it. Steve, I was just at the supermarket. That's why I'm a little out of breath. I can't believe what I just saw in terms of the
What did you see? Tell me, describe it.
hi everybody. So we are live right now, just so you know. I'm going to show it to you because I took a picture of it. This is what my supermarket. No, I'm not replying to myself. What am I doing? Um, I'm sorry. Look, I'm going to screen share this photo because this is what it looked like. I mean, this is the toilet paper aisle. It's all gone, everybody. Are they going to have explosive tires?
Explosive.
What the hell's going on? And let me tell you,
Where are the
almost,
people? Where are the people?
I don't know, the frozen food section was empty. Everything was gone. The bread, I was so lucky to get my Italian bread.
There are no people there.
Yeah, well, not in that aisle because they are all gone. There's nothing left there.
Freaky.
Holy cow, Steve. So last night, the president announced that we're going to have a 30-day ban on travel incoming from Europe to the United States, except for the UK. This is huge. We have countries closing down. We have within the United States, we have school districts announcing that they're going to be closing for certain dates, which I also have for people. Um, but before I go on to that, why don't you give me an update? You're in Vienna, Austria. Why don't you tell me what's going on there? What are you seeing and what are you
Okay.
hearing
Okay.
about
This is the
coronavirus?
story. I mean, Austria has been pretty much untouched up until the day before yesterday.
Mhm.
Life was normal. We got back to Vienna. It was all fine. Everything was open. Theaters, concert halls, business as usual. Italy, of course, as you've heard, not only in the uh, Lombardy, or whatever you say in English,
Yeah.
closed down. The whole of Italy went on shutdown. I tried to send friends some emergency supplies in the north of Italy near Venice.
Mhm.
Um, the postal service just got a fax saying that most of the what do you call them, the zip codes wouldn't work. So I had to DHL it to him. They were still operating. So things are shut down in Italy. The borders are shutting. What's more concerning is, let's say again, I'll repeat it. That what happened. I'll go back a step. What happened in Vienna was that the day before yesterday, the chancellor made an announcement that all theaters were shutting, all gatherings of over 100 people were banned, and that I was out in a restaurant for lunch today. There was nobody else there, so things are shutting down. Which was the day before, a couple of days before, it was fine.
Yeah.
So what's happening now is
Mm.
all of it's shutting down. The schools are shutting. Blah blah blah. But I just heard from two sources now
Mhm.
that are high up in the government, that things in Austria, and I'm assuming across Europe, are going on major shutdown. So basically, all public transport, anything that's
Yeah.
get you around, or anything that puts you in contact with other people is going to be shut down. So we're going, the whole of Europe's going on shutdown. So I don't know where this is leading, to tell you the truth.
Well, it does look like that we had Liz Crokin on, it was on YouTube today talking about her opinion is that this is a cover story for these mass arrests that we've been waiting for, that the Goldfish Report has been reporting about, that Q has been talking about. We're going to get into some Q posts after we're done talking with Steve in Vienna. And so this is really the moment I think we've all been preparing and waiting for. Let's hope this is the actual moment. But Steve, when you think about it, let me screen share something for our viewers here because it makes a lot of sense when the plan. Figures I don't have it quite ready yet. Oh, here it
Well,
is.
no,
No, I have it. I have it. Take a look at this. This is an anon, and let's see how much it makes so much sense. It's very, very reasonable. Let's take a look, Steve. So this says the coronavirus cover up of 2020. Okay, it's a Trojan horse strategy. Well, what's really going on here? Well, one, to get civilians and children off the streets, schools, and public events. Prevent cabal doing mass killings for distraction or to take revenge. Number two, for quarantine, cover for mass arrests. Self-quarantine is the world leader and Hollywood celebrity version of the CEO resignation. So that's what's happening with these celebs that are coming out and saying that they have announced that they tested positive for the virus. They
Mhm.
have some politicians saying they're self-quarantining. So apparently this is part of it. Shut down airports and borders. There's no escape for the cabal. Earthquakes in Glen Falls, New York equals destroying remaining DUMS, hideouts, and shuttles. That's nice to know. Can you imagine all the taxpayer money that went into paying for those dumps?
Of
And then
course.
number four, capture, execute cabal figureheads and celebs swiftly without having to red pill the public, which can come later after the dust has settled.
This
Five,
makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, 0% payroll tax extended to 4/15 tax deadline, which is our tax day, April 15th. Restructure the IRS, cut off tax revenue to corrupt IRS money funnel to cabal. Number six, draining the swamp operation disguised as a public health safety response. Genius Patriots plan. God bless America. Please stop up on popcorn between now and 4/10/20, which would be April 10th. So that's just something that an Anon posted today. What do you think, Steve?
Well, with point, look, the rest of it, okay, we're seeing it happen, the first couple of points, but point four, I think that does make sense. I think that it could be a cover, and it makes sense because, look, think about it. We've been complaining for years that the population doesn't want to be red-pilled. A great number of people will never be red-pilled. They will never get what's really going on, and certainly inclusive of my circle of friends. So I think something has to give. Either it's going to happen, or it's going to drag on for years and years, and it can't go on like this. So I pray that this is true. I'm all for roundups. This is painful. We're losing everybody's losing financially here. So let's pray that this is true. Something inside me says yes.
Yeah.
This is planned, and as we've known, this has been planned. Maybe they've taken over cabal plan. This is possible. And they've hijacked it and turned it into their advantage, because this, we saw in that book from the 80s. What was it? The Wuhan 400 virus. It's all been mentioned, and it all been preempted. So, look, you and I are both praying that this is true. We want to see indictments. We want to see these criminals rounded up, and we want the rule of law reinstated. Yep. Let's let the point four be true.
So what are you seeing? I mean, are you seeing preparations? Are they disinfecting? When you say shut down, what about schools? Tell me about public transportation. Do you notice anything over there
Look,
in
as I
Austria?
said, at the moment, it's not, the public transportation hasn't been affected. As I said, up until Monday, things were normal here in Austria. Okay, Austria was an exception. Even though we share a border with Italy, somehow we had very few cases, and people are very sensible here. So it's very organized. But
Right.
look, I'd like to add a further point that may or may not dispute point four, is that the fact is that in the north of Italy, which is the most advanced part of Italy and a very good health system, because of the peak in the cases of coronavirus, even though it may not be as deadly as the flu, the normal flu, 1% or 1 to 3% death rate, what happens is the hospital system becomes inundated, and the doctors, in tears, have to decide who gets into the hospital and who doesn't. They don't have enough beds because it's so contagious. So this is what we're having, is maybe a month before you in the States, if it does grow in the States, because at the time I read it, it was every 6.2 days there was a doubling, and now some people are saying every 4 days. So I think it's quite exponential once it gets going. So you see this peak, this massive spike in the curve of cases that could inundate your health system in the States. And of course, as you know, we have a more socialized health system over here in Europe, so people will get treated. But in the States, it's if you don't pay, you're stuffed. You know,
Exactly.
you got a problem.
That's a lot of
It's going to
people.
ruin people financially in the States. Yeah.
What what uh what people around the world don't really realize, they think Americans and honestly, Americans have been purposely kept ignorant because the mainstream media here, as you know, is run by the CIA. So they're not given truth. They're not given real information. They're given a narrative. And so we don't really get the truth. And so it's not the Americans' fault, really, because it's so controlled that the land of the free is probably the most controlled place on the planet. And so that's probably more closely the truth to the situation. So Americans have been kept in the dark. So you're right, Steve. There's a lot of people who won't be able to handle what's going on. But nonetheless, it has to happen. It has to move on. And you're right. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting for years.
And I want point number 4 to be true because I believe we can't wait for the people that aren't going to wake up and the people that will never wake up. So just shotgun start,
Yeah.
get it over and done with, surgical
Yeah.
removal
Yeah.
under the guise of this. I pray that this
Mhm,
is the
mhm.
case. Yep.
Yeah. So you travel a lot throughout Europe. Have you seen anything else?
Yes, I was just in Germany. Things were fairly normal there too. There is a certain amount of anxiety on the streets, and now there is anxiety on the streets here in Austria too. I was speaking to people in Italy in the red zones,
Mhm.
which is a lot of Italy actually, the red zones, and they're saying it's pretty much martial law. They were begging me to send them masks and stuff, which the masks are pretty useless against the virus anyway. But I sent it to him anyway. So,
Yeah.
but they're in. Look, nothing's been like this in Europe since World War II. This type of chaos,
Yeah.
shutdown, exceptional circumstances. So I think most people are taking it quite well. There is some panic buying. I haven't seen toilet paper off the shelves like in the States or in Australia. Uh, but I think the warning that I had today from 2 different sources from relatively high up in the government apparently is a little chilling because they were telling uh, educated, let's say, professional people like doctors
Mhm.
and that they were telling them, be quiet, don't cause a panic. They don't want to run on the supermarkets and stuff. So we're having the chancellor's making an announcement tomorrow.
Mhm.
Everybody's talking about it to see what he's going to say, but
Mhm.
I'm fairly sure he's simply going to say there are going to be heavier measures. Public transport's going to be shut down. The school's already shut down. You can't go to a library. Anywhere where there's a gathering, it's going to be shut down.
Right, right. One of the things I want to do is just go to the latest Q board because I wanted to indicate to everybody what Q has said. And, we're talking here about, um,
God
well,
win.
yeah, the God wins. That's the last one. Let me just move this out of the way. And also, we're going to talk about this post again in a
Well,
minute.
because everything's been run by Satan up until now. That's why.
Right, a lot of people don't understand that. This is going to be one of my proofs that I talk about as well, regarding Austin Steinbart, because he is claiming that he is part of the Q team. He's claiming that he's baby Q, that he's Q, and he's Q plus in the future. So I just wanted to, show everybody, and I don't know, Steve, if you have a chance, if you have time to see this, but it is worth noting. But again, they're talking about nothing can stop what's coming, nothing, rig for red. They're talking about Godspeed, have faith. This post here was about the armor of God, and so I think they were preparing us for what's obviously here. The storm is here, folks. I think this is the storm. Um,
Let's
God
hope.
wins. So let's just take a look at this, if you would, for just a
Yeah,
minute.
definitely.
I'm going to just enlarge it because I want to make sure everybody can see. No, I don't think that was. I don't think everyone can see that quite as well. Um, yeah. Okay. So let's just go to Austin's chat. I mean, sorry, his page, his website. I'm sorry, not the website.
The YouTube channel.
Yeah, the YouTube channel. Sorry, I Oh, that's my live stream right there. So while I'm doing this, Steve, did you get this information in Europe yet about Austin Steinbart and Q and
Well,
have
I
you?
got it. I think it was through KP Kualapele's blog. I saw it, and was it from you? I can't remember. No, you sent it to me. You
Hmm.
sent me a link. I was away on holiday.
Hmm.
I didn't get it, but I listened to him, and
Okay.
the unusual intonation in his voice,
Hmm.
his demeanor, something rang true, even though he was putting on a persona.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
appeared to be, maybe he's not. I don't know. I don't know him, but
Okay.
it rang true to me. That's all I can say.
Okay, well, I'm going to take a look at his Twitter page real quick, and I would just want to show everybody that here is his Twitter page, and he's obviously dealing with a lot of people who are trying to call him a LARP and trying, and not even being that nice, Hail Mary LARP and all this other stuff. And someone here says, how about a quick Q proof, tweet something here and then post it as Q later today. And so Austin said, done, replied to that, and he put a link down to who is Q here. And um, I want to go to that page for just a second. He put a link there. And um, where is his page again?
Well, he's not blogging from home, I'll tell you that. If you look at the last videos that he's done, you look at the reflection in the computer screen, or no,
Yeah.
no, I think it's a whiteboard he has in the background. You look at
Yeah.
the reflection,
Mhm.
and you see that he's in some sort of installation, or maybe an office. It's
Right.
something. It's not.
Right.
He's not blogging from home. It's no
Okay.
green screen.
So here I'm going to show something here. Okay. And I wasn't the one to find this initially, but I found other proofs in here. So
Mhm.
here you have March 7th, a Q proof, right, with a question mark.
Sure.
So this is March 7th. And I'm sure he's had a lot of people say the same thing, whatever. Here you can see the GoldFish Report comment on
Mhm.
here. Now I'm going to screen share. So this is the title, Q proof question mark, right? This is the title. So
A very QE style.
that's on March 7th. Everybody saw that, right? So
Mhm.
let's go to the Q board and let's check out this post because I think that there might be, and I did not catch this initially, so I'm not going to try to take credit for it. But you can see here that this was posted here. This was someone anonymous, you again. So it's someone,
Yep.
whoever posted this, whoever Q took this from was the person,
Sure.
whoever posted this was the person who was posting this here. But you can see that this is called Q proof with a question mark. So, is that a proof?
I
Now,
haven't.
what you would say is you see that this is 11:09 p.m. on 3/7. This is on the 7th, 3/7/20. So this
Mhm.
is on March 7th. And so let me go back to the video so you can see. Well, it doesn't have the time, but it says March 7th as well. So then Austin refers to the fact that he already has done a Q proof. But there's more than that. There's other Q proofs, and I don't want to take up too much time in that. But one of the things that I wanted to show everybody was this initial Q post that I had published. Okay, this was interesting that a lot of people caught certain things here. Okay, here you
Mhm.
have anonymous, right, in this one in the bottom, just anonymous, yet up here you have Q anonymous and it says you. So the person, which was not me, and some people mistakenly thought this, but this is not my screenshot. It is a screenshot, but it is not my screenshot. So the
Mhm.
person who posted Q anonymous is the person posting these images here.
Mhm.
Now, what I wanted to do was I wanted to find out if Q posted under Q anonymous in the earlier days, and so I did try to find other other uh, posts that could have that same timestamp and signature, and I came up with a lot of different things. Um, Here is another one. I can't tell. Let me screen share this one. I can't tell if this was just an anon or if this was because underneath here, is there a Q under there? I see something and I can't tell. And here's another one, whether this was just an anonymous post or whether but this is all still relative to the operation that's going on. So what I'm trying to say here is that is that there's other anons that may be posting information, but they may not be, part of the Q team. Whether this was uh, whether this says Q anonymous under this, I don't know. But it's just more evidence, because here we are talking about the whole issue. We're talking about all the people involved in the fake FISA application, the fake warrants, and the whole plan to try to bring down Trump, this whole insurance policy. So these are all the people, and these are all the lists of crimes that they committed. So
Mm.
somebody really, this is U.S. code, 18 U.S.C. code.
Sure, sure.
These are felony
All
crimes.
listed out. Yeah, yeah.
These are crimes against justice. So I know this is not like a full proof at the moment, because I know Steve only has a limited amount of time. But I was trying again. Were there other proofs? Were there other posts that just had anonymous on there? And there were, but again, I can't verify whether they were Q, whether they were Austin or not. Uh,
What is I find compelling about his videos is mainly that the fact that he goes back to the start of the deep state control, which is the JFK assassination, where
yes,
that was a coup, and they
yes,
took over from that point, and the fact that the cover up that had happened immediately after is evidence that, for me, I think it will
mhm,
come out. And that's why he keeps harping on this topic, and he puts the importance on it, that for the American public and the general public in the world to understand what happened, you have
yeah,
to go back to that point and have to release the documents. And he also goes on about the WikiLeaks documents
mhm,
too, which is also, I think, absolutely crucial,
yes,
because as he said, they're meticulous in how they make sure that they are genuine documents.
mhm,
And he goes on through how he checks the headers of emails
mhm,
and through the encryption and the codings, and that it's all legit. So
yeah,
he has an deep understanding of all this
mhm,
systematic thing to how
mhm,
to analyze and verify documents and electronic documents especially. So, but the crux of it is that he goes on pointedly about the JFK assassination. But why would he do that?
right, right,
Because that is the beginning of the end of the
right,
modern era of the United States Republic, the
yeah.
modern era.
Now, some people are having a little hard time. I'm going to screen share another image here, because I want to just point out something to everybody. Here's another post, and this does say Q on it, but it has a strip code, because this is obviously,
Mhm.
on the 8chan board at this point. So he did go through a few trip codes, and initially he wasn't even referred to. He didn't even have a trip code initially. He didn't go by um,
Wasn't necessary. Yeah.
he wasn't using Q right in the beginning.
Yep.
So the thing is this, a lot of people, and then here's another one. Here's another one with another trip code. So some of these are not Q. Some of these are. Here's another one here. This was an image of them flying. Here's a Q, and here's another trip code. This was early on, though, from November 2017.
Yep.
But still, everyone is really being hung up, and they're cherry picking the things that they like, and the things that don't support what they like, they're ignoring. So yes, it says no comms outside the board. Now think, if you're running a spy operation, if you're running the largest sting operation on the planet, of the history of this planet, um, are you going to put all your moves in public?
Of course not.
So you're going to, it's a decoy. It's the oldest trick in the book. You're going to say, no comms, nothing, don't trust anything, don't believe anything outside of this. And there are comms that say that in the queue. You probably remember that, right, Steve? You've seen those.
Sure, sure.
But he also says disinfo is necessary.
Of course it is. Yeah, you're leading them by the nose at some point, but at the same time, you want to educate the public as much. You want to red pill them as much as possible to
Yeah,
avoid
right.
civil war when it hits
Yeah.
the fan, basically.
I'm going to provide more proofs, and I know that Austin is going to provide more proofs. And just for the record, we have invited him onto the Goldfish Report, but he does have an operation going on right now. So,
You mean,
when not a medical operation, but
yeah,
when if he can, he will. And I know that many people are reaching out to him. But again, you have to realize that you have to let the enemy, and this is what was so brilliant about President Trump, and you have to admit this, that he always, the Sun Tzu, Steve, isn't it true? You always let your enemy believe that they're in control,
That's right.
right?
Dilemma. That's right. No, look. Let's see how this plays out. I think you guys should look to Europe at the moment to see what's going to come your way very soon, because we're slightly ahead. It could change immediately. It could be global martial law. I mean, I think the flights are being shut down everywhere. We can't fly to certain places. I think 80% of flights are shut down across Europe. So I mean, travel is going to be extremely difficult. So bunker down. Make sure your family's got enough food, water, clean water, and fuel to get you through the next 3-4 weeks. We don't know what's going to happen. Like anything, it's anybody's
Yeah.
game.
I just want to say hi to all of our live chat viewers who are in our live chat, and I just want to ask you to please keep it the comments polite and clean. You know, we want to be
They're swearing at us
respectful.
a bit.
They're swearing again. No, it's not bad. Yeah, Chelsea Manning was released. I saw that today.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't. That's good.
yeah, yeah. Thieves Oil. Okay, so this is all part of the plan. I mean, folks, honestly, you know, the cabal has PhD in deception. These are master deceivers. These are people who know exactly how to make something plausible, as fake as it is. They could sell you the Brooklyn Bridge. Before you knew it, would be too late. You couldn't rescind your deal. Honestly, folks, I mean, they know, the alliance, the white hats, the team Q, they all know how nefarious and how cunning the cabal is, and to try to take them down in any manner whatsoever, or at least the corruption is what, you know, the president is trying to do, is take down the corruption. You know, you're not going to let them know what your what your plan is, of course. So, you know, there's certain things that uh thanks. I'm just reading some of the live chat. You're not going to let your enemies know what you're planning on doing. So disinfo is necessary. So people need to chill out. I mean, some of these people are really, really throwing mud at Austin, and I think we need to give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, had that. I have other proofs too, but I would prefer that Austin show you his proofs for himself.
Yeah,
And so I just think
very
that
good.
you need to consider this and consider the timing of it. When I first broke this last week, I had said that it indicated a big change in terms of that there was some milestone reached, and we were in another phase of the plan. And then what happened?
I
Next
agree.
thing you knew, we started hearing about you know, these quarantines and things like that, hearing how serious it was in Italy, Steve.
Yep.
So now you have a friend that you spoke to. You don't have to name any names or anything like that, but you said a friend of yours said not to panic, but they gave you a little advice, little message
Which one? Which
about
one? Yep.
which one?
But lots
Oh,
of men.
I just put Steve on the
It
hot
depends on
seat.
which one.
The doctor friend of yours.
Doctor friend of mine. Oh no, that's what I was talking about before.
Okay.
That's the same thing. The same. I just had a second confirmation in
Okay.
between after we talked before.
Right. Right.
That high up in the government in Austria, that they were told there's going to be major shutdowns. Stock up on your food. That's what we were told.
And toilet paper.
They didn't mention toilet paper, but I think people will work that out.
Because God knows we can't survive without toilet paper. We can go without food, but God help
Well,
us if we run out of toilet
We
paper.
Aussies used to use newspaper back in the day, so it's
Yeah,
the reason.
Sears. Winston used to say Sears catalog worked just
There you go.
fine.
Whatever works for you.
Or corn cobs, as Winston used to say.
Oh, defamation.
I just couldn't believe all the toilet paper was gone in the store. But I have a confession. I have a confession that my biggest fear is running out of toilet paper. I'm not kidding.
You're obviously not alone. So there
Yeah.
you go.
I mean, isn't that's just so visceral.
I
It's
think
the
it's been on social media, people are watching it, and they're like sheep. They go and do the same thing. Look, I just want to add to people: stay healthy, stay positive. in a positive mood. Go out and walk in the forest if you can. Fresh air, get sun on your skin. Vitamin D is essential. Suck on vitamin C, and drink lots of water. You'll be fine. It'll all be good.
Baja Girl
Even
3.
with or without toilet paper.
Yeah,
That's right.
Baja Girl 302 says toilet paper is sold out in Arizona. I believe it. I believe it. And you know, let's just hope the toilet's flush. You just don't want any problems. I mean,
That's
use
right.
baby wipes. Yeah, baby wipes are good too, actually. They're, very helpful.
See a
So,
pedal. Anyway.
well, Steve, what are you planning on doing?
Well, as I said, everything's shut down. I'm meant to be in Lebanon right now. That was shut down. I couldn't go, so
Right.
I'm here in Austria for the foreseeable future. Um, my mother's very sick at the moment, so I may have to go to Asia, but I don't think I'll be able to fly. I have this strange feeling that things are going to be really hunkered down, or if I do make it, I won't be able to get back. So it's just things are bizarre at the moment.
But you heard
But
why the president said that he shut down travel from other countries because other countries weren't implementing the ban from these regions that are what we call level 4, which is do not travel regions, do not travel to regions. Yeah, our State Department would issue something like that. So, are you seeing that they're starting to implement, within Europe? Are they doing any kind of restrictions like that?
Well, I just saw just a few minutes ago before we came on. I was watching a news report from Germany, northern Germany, and they were showing images from the I think it was the Luxembourg to French border, and it looked like China. They had guys in suits, and they were scanning people's temperature with the hand machine, and they were anybody who looked
Okay.
or it's a
Hmm.
suspect, they were hauling them off basically, or turning them back. So
Hmm.
so I think we're going to see that now, and travel's going to be extremely difficult. So I don't know what they'll do in the States. I have no idea, but
Right.
we're looking at problems here in Europe, and economically, it's an absolute disaster. Everything's shut. No, there's no economic movement, and as you know, it's what's it called? It's a the delivery what's the name of the term where they delivery on time delivery, delivery on time service to the supermarkets and the shops, so they
Oh
don't
yeah.
have storage. So if one uh, link in the chain of supply to the
Yeah.
supermarkets gets blocked off
Hmm.
within hours or within a day,
Hmm.
there's nothing on the shelves. So I think we're looking at that scenario over here, and that could be coming to a cinema near you in Australia, in the United States.
Yeah,
So
well,
yeah,
speaking about Australia, we had someone in the chat here who says they're from Australia but living in Wisconsin right now. And he says, what did he say? He was just being funny. I do like people when they're trying to be funny because, God, we got to laugh at ourselves with
we need
this.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Three Cats. Hi, Three Cats. Says, happy to hear you. I'm Australian and live in Wisconsin. Toilet
Uh-huh.
paper will save you from the virus. He's put a laugh sign on it.
Wrap
So,
it around your face. That's what.
right, right, right.
Put it
And
up your
so,
nostrils.
something. I mean, we've got to do something, right? We have people saying there's plenty of toilet paper in Asheville. I guess that's North Carolina. Everybody needs to go there then and get it, I
Send some.
suppose.
Send some. Take it to
Send
mail order.
some.
Mail order.
Mail order. Better get your
Take a
little
lot of money.
Amazon.
Take a lot
Get
of
your
money.
get your little Amazon drone to drop it off.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's basically it. And I just want to thank you, Steve. Is there anything else politically that you see coming up that you see
Look,
aside
I
from
think
the virus? I mean,
there's
there were
nothing.
protests and everything. What do you
Yeah,
see?
there's nothing on the news except the coronavirus at the moment. It's like blanket on in every language. It's
Hmm.
blanket. I mean, I don't know whether it's there to scare people. I don't know
Yeah.
whether it's there because they're afraid of an inundated system and unrest on the streets. I'm not
Okay.
sure, but all I know is that this is causing chaos as well, and they don't want panic. I get that. Like
Right.
China, they don't want
Right.
panic. And
Hmm.
I saw a report, a very good report on what's happening in China, and it was incremental, the limitations they had on transport. In fact, there was one, let's say a housing estate, let's
Hmm.
say a high-rise housing estate, that first of all they started with a little fence, and they had to hand water over. Then the week after, and they had to renew passes. Then the fences got higher and thicker and higher and higher, so they had to stand on a ladder to hand the water over to the housing estate. So in China, they did these incremental limitations as to movement, they were like in prison. So I don't think that's going to come here. I don't think that'll come to the States. But I'm just saying that it's looking more like that at the moment than not.
Oh, and by the way, let me just screen share one other thing that I had found. I'm sorry to jump around, but back to the Q post. These are the initial posts on the 4chan board, which it just went under anonymous. And they're talking about fellow patriots and all that. Then he signed it Q. So initially, the trip was just anonymous here. So I did want to point out that it has gone under different trip codes and names on the boards. So I just wanted to bring that to people's attention because I was screen sharing some of the other ones, and there are other Q proofs that I'm going to do a special separate report on, but I wanted to just bring that up because I did find also that the president ended up retweeting that 17 hours later, which was on there. So I mean, of course, the 17 number is going to be significant. So I think we should just watch the Q boards. And find out, of course, from our local sources what to do. They are preparing in the United States here in terms of schools, they're already instructing, actually, they're having meetings right now on preparing for having kids actually use the computers to do work online, have like online Google Classrooms, which they do have they do have they do it already. They have it's kind of annoying because I can't really help my kids with their homework because they do everything on the computer, and so I don't get to find out, I don't get to help them, and it's very, very frustrating for me. But what else was happening today? Let's see. Maryland Governor Logan has announced all public schools in Maryland are closed from March 16th to the 27th.
Wow.
So that point in time is particularly interesting. I would make a note of it. March 16th to the 27th. Public access to state buildings is restricted. And we saw in that other Anon's post that 41020, which are DJT. It's Donald Trump's, also Donald Trump's initials. And another Anon was saying that you kind of have to have this happen now because you can't wait until the election to have the mass arrests. You can't wait until, like, oh, this is Liz Crokin was saying that. I don't exactly 100% agree with her, but
it is a possibility.
But it's possible. It's possible that she feels like that she said it was her understanding that Q is a 3-year operation project, and it would be 3 years in at the end of October, right? So right, that would lead right into the November election. Obviously, you can't wait until 3 years for you can't wait right up till before the election to have these mass arrests and things like that. It'll be considered a complete fraud, the election. The whole thing would be thrown. So you either do it now or you do it after the election. And although I think, Steve, that there's going to be a lot of really good things coming after the election, I think that, it's interesting that the timing now, for whatever reason, this definitely signaled a major change in terms of, look, the whole world's going to, what, let me just say this, okay? We have in the United States, we have 60 cases of coronavirus, or 100, no, we have 100 and something cases where 40 people, I don't even think 40, I think it was there's only been a few deaths in the United States. It's not even serious.
Very low, yeah.
So we call out the National Guard, we call up all the bankers. The president this week met with with CEOs of the banks, with CEOs of the pharmaceutical industry, with CEOs of the airline industry. So come on. This is, he's admitted that the flu kills more people so far than this coronavirus, and we've never deployed this much resources for it. So look, obviously we don't want it to get bad. We don't want it to end up like China. I think China was a cover for something much, much more nefarious that was going on there, and we aren't really going to get the full truth.
We'll see how it pans out.
No, exactly. Yep. And we'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on Italy. And Steve, please keep us posted.
I
will.
If
you hear anything new, so we can share it with people.
Take care, people. Buckle up.
Buckle up. Get your popcorn.
Get your toilet paper out.
Get your mask. All you need is toilet paper and popcorn. Oh, my God.
All right.
Thanks, Steve. I'm going
We'll
to
see you
stay
next
on.
time.
I'm going to stay in the
Okay,
chat for a few
cool.
minutes with all
Ciao,
the
ciao.
viewers to see how they're doing. So thanks for joining us,
Yeah.
Steve, and have a
Bye
good
for now.
night.
Take
Take
care.
care.
Thanks.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Okay, everybody. So it's just you and me. Um, yeah, the people are talking about Winston. I know. I will. It is very difficult. Right. Another dead cat bounce. Exactly. Chinese dragon family. Yeah, there's really actually a lot of things I can't say, but I'll tell you this. Yeah. Uh, Right. Right before an election, someone pointed out, and it has been posted, that there's always some sort of big virus or health scare that seems to plague the country where it affects the elections. So, or they're trying to. Hi, Slim. Nice to see you. Just got off work. Yeah, this is an unusual, but I had Steve on with me earlier, who was in Europe, and it's much later there, so Um, I wanted to just do this a little bit earlier today because it was quite late there in Europe where Steve is. So Sweden here. Hi, Sweden. How you doing? Can you give us an update, Cam? Can we start? Can you give us an update on what's happening over in Sweden in terms of the coronavirus? I'm just reading the live chat. Do you have any announcements? Has the government been shut down? What's going on over there? Please put it in the chat, everybody, and let's share this. Yeah, some people are saying a 5G meltdown. Gee, I'll tell you, the way I feel like I've been beamed lately on my head the past few days, it feels like yeah, Steve is my co-host. Steve has been with the GoldFish Report from the very beginning, and he travels a lot around Europe for work, and it's really good that he can join us every once in a while. We usually do something called coffee break, where we kind of take an issue and talk about it real quick over some coffee, or some, I don't know what this is, but I'm trying to drink it, trying to enjoy it. Yeah, not a problem, Slim. That's okay. That's okay. You just got off work. It's an unusual time for us to do these reports, but we do have, we did have some information I wanted to share with you before it was too late. Let me just, so I just wanted to kind of recap. Um, I wanted to recap some of what I was talking about earlier. There are other Q posts. There are other Q posts out there that I think the initial ones, as I was screen sharing earlier, were under just anonymous. And so, you know, again, folks, this info is necessary. I mean, if he's actually posting under several trip codes, but posting to different people for different purposes. In fact, what Austin said, I'm talking about Austin Steinbart. What Austin said was that some of those comms on the boards were for him. So they're not for us. They're not all for us. They were for him. While he was doing an operation. So I don't think he's actually physically the one doing the posting. He might be, but if he's in the field, as he said, if he's in the field doing operations and someone's posting codes there for him to look at in order to do his operations, then he's not the one posting all the time, right? So we have different people posting, and I think we know that because I think you could tell from the different ways that some of them are worded that it wasn't always the same person. We saw Q plus, okay, so you just have to expand your thinking, and that's why I did the report last night called "Expand Your Thinking," because you really do. You can't be too dogmatic about this. You just can't. So I'm looking forward to seeing what other material Austin has to publish. But let's accept regardless of the fact of whether you can validate whether it's him, whether he's Q or not, or Q baby as he calls himself. Um, Look at the content of what he's talking about. He's just come on the scene and boom, it's blown up. I mean, he's got 40,000 views on. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at his page. Let's check it out. Let's check out Austin's page because I was looking at this earlier in the week before I actually went public with, my proofs for him. And these were not this, he was lucky to get 1,000 views. He's up to, look, 30,000, 43,000 views, 47,000 views. Okay, he caught on. Okay, 25,000 views. He is definitely caught on. There's also going to be another big Q proof in this video, which is the one that he linked.
Happy Monday, everyone.
Yeah, I'm not going to, which is, of course, the link to the Air Force Base. That's one of them there. And yes, of course, I was replying on his page as well. But I'm just curious what you all think. Do you have comments? Has anybody, really given this, has anyone given this any major thought here? I don't know who Montegraph is. Yeah. Veronica, you're speaking in Norwegian, my dear. I don't have a translator. Swedish media is fear-mongering. Okay. Veronica is from Sweden as well. So can we start? Can you translate that for us? Wunderbar. Wunderbar. I know that means wonderful, doesn't it? No, a little bit. Austin inverted the pine burr 64 sniffer thingy. Thorn of the evergreen. Oh, he invented it. Okay. Slim Frank. Yeah, right. That was, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so look, what is Austin's channel? It's under his name. Hi, Elizabeth from Dublin. Nice to see you. Here's his name if you want to check it out. I just think folks need to do due diligence on this before, before you just go out and call him a LARP. I think people need to do their due diligence, and they need to, do what I was doing. I mean, I'm going through all these posts. I'm looking at every one of them. There's, who is this? Who is this Anon here, right? I shared this one earlier today, right? Could this also be, the same people, but just not using the Q signature, They're saying that this is the only one, but maybe that's not. Maybe they just want the enemy to believe that, folks, not us. Disinfo is necessary. And so, if they have to deceive us, that's okay, right? A lot of people aren't going to be happy about that. But if they have to deceive us as part of the ops, because they need to be sure that, that the enemy doesn't figure them out. It is Spy 101, and I'm not even a spy, but I mean, it's easy to figure this stuff out. I'm going to screen share this one. I thought that's what I was doing. No. Right? Here's a post by Anonymous. So maybe, disinfo is necessary. Maybe he does post under other names, not just, the Q trip code. And this was back, this is today. Wait a second. No, it's not. How can this be 3/12/20? 3/12. It's today. I'm sorry. It is today. I'm going crazy. This is today, folks. This is today. This was posted today. See that? I had to double check for a minute. This is an anonymous post talking about the coronavirus cover-up 2020. Let's just hope that this is correct. Let's just hope that this is done by April 10th of 2020. And don't forget your toilet paper now, because we need that. we don't want to run out of any of that, So what are the other ones that I wanted to pull up? Just why we're still here chit-chatting. Let me see. I have a lot more to go through. This was another one. I know it's a little bit strange. It doesn't really say much, but I'm going to share it because this is another one where this person was Q and here's a trip code. And so it was the person Q. So Q is here, and it says you again. So this is the person who was posting the reference to all of these other posts. Okay. So the person Q is the person who is posting that. So that's a screenshot of that. Okay. What does that mean? Well, I think we just need to use discernment. Again, I think if you, you know, uh, if you want to understand this, and look, it's a puzzle. They're pieces of a puzzle. We're trying to understand all the pieces of the puzzle. And I think that Austin is giving us pieces of the puzzle. We just have to learn how to assemble the puzzle. And usually we try to look for some, familiar pieces that we can fit together, things that look similar and things that, but I can tell you one piece of the puzzle may look very different from another piece that's in a different part of the puzzle. So I wouldn't discount him. I wouldn't discount him, and I wouldn't discount the information he's showing us. He does have ID and things, and he doesn't even know how I know this. I have no personal communicate, like I have no interaction with him. I mean, I have connect, I can connect with him. I have connected with him, but not in a conversation. It's just like everybody else does. Through messages on Twitter or whatever, or comments in the comment section. We communicate to each other, but we've had no personal communication. Now he doesn't know how I have this. We haven't discussed that yet, but and we may not need to. Actually, I think he does know, but it wasn't something I needed to communicate. So let me just close out on this. There was something else. Yeah. Oh, I know what this was. Okay, there was another. I'm sorry. There's just another one. I was Stockholm. Yeah, it looks like the Pope might have coronavirus. We'll see. Right, Ireland schools and colleges are closed. Very good. Exactly. We had your president here talking about all of this. Veronica. Now Veronica is talking Norwegian with her Norwegian friend. Cam West is talking Norwegian now. It's easier for you. I know it is. So that's about it, folks. Unless you have any questions or you have anything else, that's what's going on in Europe right now. Steve is over in Europe, so he was reporting right in the middle of it there in Eastern Europe, actually. And that's pretty much all that I have. I do have more proofs I'm going to put together, but I'm not going to do it yet. But just realize that Q has had to go through different trip codes. He has been on different boards, and as you know, this is, let's see, there's another one. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to just screen share this one too, because I think something's very interesting here. You know how Austin said that when he's out in the field, he works for he does servicing, IT servicing and things like that. And he did mention in one of his videos that he did work on Apache, the Apache reservation. And here you have, again, if this was a clue, this could have been a comm directly to Austin. So this might not have been him posting this, but this could have been someone telling him where to go, what to do, what to look for. So just wanted to throw that out there. Activate sleeper cells. This is not a game. This is very, very, very serious stuff. Right. So top secret clearance is mandatory for admission. How is that possible? We see you. So this is they're talking about the Senate vote for Rod Rosenstein and a few other things going on there. I'm just going to leave it here, folks, for right now. And when I have more to report, I'll bring it to you. There's a lot of files, a lot of stuff to go through, and I'm trying to make all the connections and, have a little bit of a life outside of this. But, that's a challenge because it takes a lot of time to go through all of this. Yeah. Yeah. Lots of professional sporting events are being canceled. Obviously, schools. This is going to happen. Just remember the dates that I had shouted out there regarding this. So I think we have a major operation going on here, folks. Just get you hasta mañana. Okay, thank you, Maria. Just get yourself prepared. Get some food. Medicines. And any supplies, gas in your car, get supplies that you're going to need, because there has been interruption in supply. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how quickly those supermarkets can restock those shelves. Right, Slim? Thank you. All eyes on POTUS is the Great Awakening. I'm going to just take a quick look on Twitter before I go to see if there was anything new that I wanted to share with you, because on my Twitter, right, my Twitter page, Q Team. Yeah. So I don't really see anything. I don't see anything that. Okay, 7 new cases of COVID-19, which is the coronavirus, confirmed in Illinois, including a child. So that's new. Oh my goodness, the Schumann resonance is very, very high right now. It's spiking, folks. It's spiking. Yeah. So let's see. I hate to do this while we're on the while I'm doing a live stream, because I know you can't really benefit from this, but I was just looking to see if there was anything. March, yeah. Okay, folks, that's it. When I get more information, I will come back and I will present it to you. I am working on this because I do think that we are obviously preparing for a major op, and I think I think everybody should just get ready. Everyone should get prepared. Stock up on supplies as you need it, and I'll be back. Next time I have information and news to share with you all. So thank you so much. Yeah, you feel it, Sherry? Absolutely. Cam West, we start. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody who's joined us in the live chat. So that's what's going on in Europe. It's definitely global, folks. It's not just within the United States. You would think it would have to be in order to get all these people. The thing is, if you're going to do these big ops, you're not going to want, like, you know how the cabal works, right? They do false flag attacks. They do school shootings through MK Ultra. They trigger these people. Of course, this is the conspiracy theory, right? They do shootings in Walmarts and superstores. They do shootings and other kinds of really disruptive and harmful events, and they don't want really mass casualties or large, as Austin said in his report, you don't want a lot of what do they call casualties. The collateral damage is what they're talking about, and that means you don't want a lot of people harmed. So again, as I was saying in my report last night, it's very possible this is the beginning of the ending of this conspiracy theory for sure, because once Austin has come out claiming to be Q, it's not a theory anymore. Then it's just a matter of validating whether or not it's truly him. But as far as the mainstream media, who knows how they're going to play this card? I'm very curious to see how people are going to, yeah, I am very curious to see how the mainstream media is going to react to this. And I'm curious to know what people think about this. So look, I'm going to, keep everybody up to date as I get information, and just try to stay calm and don't panic and reassure everybody. I mean, the viewers of the GoldFish Report know that when something comes to pass here, that you're being recruited as a viewer, kind of, make sure everybody stays calm. And not everybody's going to accept the news that's going to come out, but the president has his presidential emergency alert system in place. If anything else is going to happen, he's going to notify us. He's going to explain to us what's happening. And thank you, guys. Thank you, Allie, and everybody for your thanks. Sempiternal. I appreciate that. Right. Exactly. So that's the whole idea, Frank. Slim Frank, exactly. Shutting down schools, shopping malls, churches, airports, prevents the false flags. It prevents them from retaliating against people for these operations, for these arrests, and who knows what else is going to happen. But I think it's a pretty good theory. Thank you so much, Sherry. Thank you for joining me, dear. I appreciate you being here, and thanks for sending that link to Liz Crokin. Thank you, dear. I appreciate it. Yeah, so it's just better that if schools are going to shut down and people be off the streets. This way, it's less. They minimize the collateral damage as much as possible. Will there be a time when all of this comes out? I presume there will be. So at some point, I'm sure there's a point in time when they plan on revealing all of this to the public. But right now, you have to be honest. You have to give them a lot of credit. What a brilliant plan this is, right, folks? How brilliant is this that you want to shut down? You have a reason. You have this excuse to shut down the globe, basically. They're shutting everything down without people being suspicious, without people hurting. What did the president do? He passed this no payroll tax, right, for the next couple of weeks. He passed that people can get paid if they're going to be treated for coronavirus. Health insurance is going to cover it, and health insurers are going to cover the treatment for it, which I reported last night on the POTUS report. So it's a plan, folks. It's a plan. Okay, it's a good plan. I think it's the best plan they have. You're right. Oregano oil is fantastic. If you can get that, it's actually a very good antibiotic and antiviral. I've taken it before. It's very, very good. James says, I'm flat earth. I shut down the globe years ago. Oh, you got to have sense of humor. I love it when you guys have a sense of humor because, I like to laugh. God knows we need it. Yeah, Trump is using their weapon against them. Absolutely, Slim. Thanks for picking up on that. And that's exactly what they're doing. So be careful. Prepare. Just prepare. I think that, let's hope that, well, what's going to happen? Let's speculate a minute, right? So I don't normally speculate, but if I'm going to, I'll certainly announce it. And I'm speculating right now. Let's speculate on the markets. The president said the markets are going to be fine today as he greeted the Italian prime minister. He said that the markets are going to be fine. So we'll see what happens. But I think we have a major reset getting ready to go on as well, whether that's happening now or that's going to happen at a later time. But we do know that there is a global currency reset happening. We know that China has already introduced the gold-backed and asset-backed yuan, which is now the petro yuan. We know that other countries are pegging their currencies to that currency, the yuan. We've known for years that there was going to be a global currency reset, and we also know that there's other more humanitarian and humane laws and treaties that are going to be agreed on and introduced in order to improve the quality of life for humans on this planet. So, and I was specific to mention humans, qualify that. So I think there's an awful lot going on, so I'm not going to ramble on too much, and that's it for now. And when there's more to report, I will come back. There is more. I just didn't want to get it all in tonight because I didn't want to make it too long. I will be back to do a POTUS report tomorrow, and it's likely I'll be back even before that to give more updates. So as I get them as they come in, Slim Frank, biggest transfer of wealth in history of the planet. Yeah, I believe that this is happening, and it's probably and the Federal Reserve. There's lots of things, look, if you're going to shut the global trade down and you're going to shut everybody down in the schools and everything else, you might as well get everything done that you need to get done at once. So the meek shall inherit the earth. That's right, Slim Frank. So God bless everybody. God bless everyone, really. I mean, the president and the Q team as well for the amazing job that they're doing. And I'll be back when I have more information. So thank you all so much for joining me. And this concludes this edition of the GoldFish Report.